Hi Space Cadets and other Anchor students. It's Miss Caroline here, and I had a circle time activity that I wanted to show my class how to do at home, and you are welcome to try this too. So we have a few different classroom jobs that the Space Cadets do during their circle time, and I figured we can try and see how we do those kinds of jobs at home. So the first job in circle time is for our mailman. And our mailman is responsible for taking our question of the day that we do to transition to circle, folding it up, and then mailing it to our giant blue mailbox that we have in the classroom. So this is our cue for the mailman. It's a scratchy blue rectangle with sparkles. And then you would find this in our classroom binder that tells you what your job is that day. And then so today, again, I'm gonna show you how to mail a letter, a real letter to somebody that we're going to address to, and we're going to stamp and send into a mailbox. So I'll show you how to do that step by step. All right, so step one is to gather all of your materials. You are going to need a pen, a piece of paper, an envelope, and a stamp. Once you have all of your materials, you're going to move on to step two, which is finding your piece of paper and locating the top left corner. So I'm going to feel for my piece of paper. I'm going to feel for all the way at the top, up, 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 and then I'm going to move over to the left. Find the left corner, and that's where you're going to find the top left corner. Now right below that, that's where you're going to address your letter to the person you're writing to. In the top left corner, I took my pen and I wrote out, "Dear Rylan," because I'm going to write a letter to Rylan and send it to him in the mail. Okay, moving on to the third step. We're gonna finish the rest of our letter, finish writing out our message. And then once we're done, at the bottom, we sign our name. So towards the bottom right, I said, "Love, Miss Caroline." Then we are going to fold our letter. I folded mine short ways, or as we have learned, hamburger style. Okay, so step four, we're putting our letter into our envelope. So make sure our letter is underneath the edges of the envelope so that I can slide in. All right. So our next step, the fifth step, is to find the top of the envelope and make sure that the flap is open. And we're gonna find all the way at the top of the envelope, and there's gonna be a slightly different texture up there. Up at the top, it's a little sticky already, but to seal this envelope, we're gonna need to dampen the top on this sticky part. Now, some people usually just go ahead and lick it and then just seal it, but if you don't like the taste or don't prefer it that way, you could always get a damp paper towel and dab it across the top. I'll show you. Okay, so I went ahead and I got a small piece of paper towel, bunched it up, and dampened it with some water. I'm gonna take that, again, find the top of the envelope with the sticky part. I'm just gonna take my wet paper towel and just dab it across to moisten it. And then we take our flap, fold it over the top, and press firmly down on the seal. And that's how we seal our envelope. Okay, so now we're moving on to the 6th step. We flipped our envelope over to the front side. Now the front of our envelope is where we're gonna write a few things. Towards the top, right in the middle, is where we're gonna address the envelope to go to. So the first thing you put is the person's name. And again, we address the letter to Rylan, so we're gonna address the envelope to Rylan. First and last name. Now, under the name is where we put Rylan's address. This is going to be a series of numbers and your street name. Underneath is going to be the city you live in, the state you live in, and your zip code. I won't write that out for privacy purposes, but if you would like to go over that with your child, you can. And if you want to focus more on top, under, next, below, those directional concepts come in handy when addressing an envelope. So now that we have our name and the address below, we're going to find the top right corner of our letter, and that's where we're going to place a stamp. So I have my stamp still, and a stamp is just pretty much a sticker. So you're going to find the corner, peel it off, find that right corner, and place the stamp there, and firmly press down so it sticks nice. All right. And then I like to, especially with personal letters that I send out, I send something called, or I write down something called a return address. Just in case that my letter doesn't get to Rylan for one reason or another, my address will be up top left of our envelope so that it can come back to my house so I can send it out again in case I made a mistake. I could have made a mistake writing out the numbers. I could have made a mistake on the street name. So if it doesn't make it to Rylan's house, it'll come back to my house and I can try again. So we're gonna find the top left, and that's where I'm gonna start writing my name, and underneath will be my address. All right, students, I just really quick wanted to show you how to write out a proper address. So if we were to say that this was an envelope and we were going to send something to Anchor Center. So what we would do again is find the middle top of the envelope and just go a little, about an inch below. We're gonna address it to Anchor Center. So we're gonna write that out, capital A, N-C-H-O-R, space capital C-E-N-T-E-R, Anchor Center. Below Anchor Center is where we write out Anchor Center's street address, which is going to be a series of numbers and the name of the street. And it's going to go 2550 Roslyn Street. ST is an abbreviation for street. Below the street address, we're going to write the city, state, and zip code. The city Anchor Center is in is Denver. Then we put a comma after our city. And then for our state, we're going to put the abbreviation of our state. So we live in the state of Colorado, and that abbreviation is capital C-O. And then next to Colorado is where Anchor Center's zip code goes, and that's going to be 80232. Okay, for the 7th and final step, you're going to take your letter or letters, all stamped with envelopes addressed to the person you're sending them to, and you are going to put them in your mailbox. My mailbox is outside, out front. Go out the front door, and my mailbox is towards my street, so at the end of my driveway. So we're gonna walk here, and then when we get to the mailbox, Miss Caroline has an old rusty mailbox. So we're gonna open it up, stick our letters inside, and then we close it up. And then to let the postman or mailman know that we have letters that are being sent and is outgoing mail, we're going to take the flag on the side of our mailbox, usually it's red, and you take it and you flip it up. This red flag shows the postman, signals the postman that there is outgoing mail to be sent. All right, Space Cadets, and that is how you send a letter to a friend. I hope you get yours soon from me, Miss Caroline, and I hope you enjoy.